Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesdays with Werner. And we got Kim from Vast today, and we're going to finish off or chat a few more points around use cases for Vast. We've spoken around the technology, place in the market, enterprise applicability, architecture, how to avoid certain pitfalls and where to make your investments and that type of thing. But we also want to bring it to where the value is, right, in terms of from a business perspective. So we've spoken about, the curation of bringing in message bus into the actual storage platform, the Insight Engine, which is, changing the way in which you're going to look at your storage and the way to interact with it. So perhaps what we can do is maybe just explore some of the relevant use cases that leverages, or has driven that vision and bringing those technologies into storage.
Yeah, I think the first one to kind of hit on, because it was first, it's before Insight Engine, is the Kafka broker.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, anything that can generate an event is something that we want to store and keep and be able to work on it.
Yeah.
So the big thing around that is doing real-time analytics and not do something that is 4 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours and focused on batch.
Yeah.
So what we've seen and where customers are pushing us is in the financial services space, we've seen fraud detection being a big one.
Yeah.
There you can think of, website activity, credit card transactions, how did I buy 50, pink coffee cups? On 50 websites all at the same time. That kind of has been a big push. In the IoT space, in South Africa, we've been pushed a little bit into the manufacturing side, which is it's an area where we've got experience, but now all of a sudden we're in a different part of the, in the data stream. So here it's around efficiency, customers saying, what can I do real time with my IoT information?
Yeah.
And adding on to IoT telemetry data, think of GPS tracking, GPS monitoring of vehicles. A lot of this stuff can happen real time in flow, but, we want to get analytics and real time value from that very quickly.
Correct. And intercept, right?
Exactly.
At point in time.
Exactly. And whether it's feeding a dashboard or whether it's something that somebody can consume very quickly, like a research scientist or one of our very clever people that are now like data scientists that are being employed in companies. How do I give them the right data, in the sense of a data table, because that's how he consumes data. You're not going to put into a file share and say there's the data files. You want to actually give him a table that he can query in SQL language that he's used to.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we see the Kafka kind of broker fitting.
Driving event-driven data.
Correct.
In simplifying the consumption of that data types.
You don't want to bring that data in and put it into an S3 bucket and then have a post-process that says, okay, well, let's now pull this into the database. You want to do it inline. So, we want to be listening for these topics.
Yeah.
So as that event is coming, we intercept that, we put it into the database.
Yeah.
And then we present that topic as a table. And that's how we want the guys to consume. And I think that is the kind of, you think in the next 3 to 6 months, I think that's a huge opportunity for us, in that space.
Yeah.
The next piece is Insight Engine. And with NVIDIA's GTC happening next week, we're making a couple of big announcements with NVIDIA. And that's really in the sense that we like I said in the previous episode, we're going to market with Insight Engine. Where we see Insight Engine fitting in, it's very easy. PDF exchange is a very quick one, if you can think in that sense.
Yeah.
So gone are the days of like OCR recognition and those kind of things. We want to bring those PDFs in very quickly. We want to secure them, especially from an enterprise point of view.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
And feed them into the model. Get it into a place where it can be consumed.
Yeah.
And again, try and do it real time. As something's generated, put it in, get it out.
Yeah. So PDF, Insight Engine, bringing that OCR kind of function straight into the actual storage platform, right?
Yeah, and the benefit there is that we, with the vast database, with the Insight Engine launch, we've actually put the vector database now in as well.
Wow.
So now you can think of that sense of your knowledge graphs and that being available.
Yeah.
Because we can take images from the PDFs, not just the words. We can take images, we can take embedded videos, and we can then put that into the vector database and make that queryable.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what, the kind of the vision that we're getting to. And in saying video is the next use case, which is quite sexy, I think. Is being able to take footage from anything, whether it be CCTV, whether it be your favorite rugby game.
Yeah.
I think in that sense of being able to feed your video into the engine and the engine being able to vectorize that and then immediately start providing you a script against what's happening in your video.
Wow.
Right? You can think of marketing opportunities. How do I actually monetize my footage? You can think up rugby games. How many times is the South African players on field?
Yeah.
And how many times is Khaleesi seen with an MTN logo?
Correct.
So all of a sudden sponsorships can become a lot more granular in the sense of how much TV time they get.
Yes.
So it would take that even into object recognition for CCTV footage for security.
Yeah.
Think of airports, think of, mining sectors, about people safety. That's the next evolution that we're getting to with Inside Engine is to, bring data to static, bring, let's say, intelligence to static video that never really gets referenced. But now we want to bring it back and see if we can actually monetize.
It's a next layer of and I mean, that's where the agentic AI kind of aspect is coming into, right? These are the components that's making that possible and making it simpler for you to actually start leveraging those type of next generation AI technologies, right? And implementing them. Previously, we spoke about, especially for an enterprise, everything is about time to value, and making sure that's happening, faster. And this is why we're talking about these technologies, why the architecture that you have in place is there so that you do not have to go and engineer this, off the bat, type of thing. And these use cases are literally sticking to this.
Okay.
So I think, just on those two, I mean, I'm really excited about that. I mean, we knew about the database, what was happening there, the event-driven side of it now with Kafka being brought into that is really, something that leads the way in the way that we look at things. Vector database on the platform.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I think that is something that, some people are only starting to scratch, and you guys are literally, turning it into a product, off the bat. So I think that's the beauty of Vast, is that it just works out of the box, right? You've got your tool set, you've got your kitchen in which you can cook up whatever data dish you wanna serve, and Vast is really the data platform that makes it work. So Kim, thank you so much for sharing those use cases, and look forward to where we go on this trajectory and vector.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers, man.